So we're here again, this time to talk about the new Predator film and also the Predator franchise. Let's see what we think.
Let's see.
Prey. So Prey is the new Predator movie, which basically is set in 1719, and in the movie we follow these Native Americans, and basically the Predator is hunting them down, and this young female Native American, played by Amber Midthunder in the film, chooses to face off against the Predator. But a lot of complications occur along the way, and that's basically the plot of Prey, the new Predator film. And I'm going to say my thoughts first. So I really liked this movie. In fact, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I think it's the best Predator movie since the first one. To be honest, I know he's going to disagree with me, but I think it's as good as the first one. I really loved it. I thought it was far better than Predator 2. Loads better than Predators. I haven't seen any other Predator movie. Like, I haven't seen The Predator. I haven't seen Alien vs Predator 1 or 2. I've only seen the first 3. But, after watching the first 3, and watching this one, I loved it. I thought it was gritty, I thought it was intense, I thought the violence seemed to have done fantastically, I thought it was gory, and I thought it was thrilling to watch, and I had a runtime of 1 hour 40, it was so exciting. And as for the Predator franchise as a whole, I don't love it, I've got to admit, like I know he does, which we'll get onto in a sec. But the first Predator, I think, is a great 80s action movie. It's directed by John McTiernan, who also directed, I think, Die Hard and Die Hard 3. So clearly he can direct action very well.
I didn't realise it was the same director as Die Hard.
Yeah, it's the same guy did Die Hard 3. Yeah. He didn't do Die Hard 2, but he did Die Hard 1 and Die Hard with Vengeance. But still, he's a great director.
I love all those 3 films.
And it's a great 80s action movie. I don't love it, but there's quite a few elements of the first Predator which I love. The second Predator is meh. There's parts which I like. Like, I like the opening, I like the tram scene, and I think Danny Glover is great in that movie. But I think it's just meh, and that's kind of the same way I feel about Predators as well. I didn't hate Predators, but it just kind of felt like a bad remake of the first Predator movie.
And as for the 2018 V Predator,
he's seen the Predator, I haven't.
It's not very memorable, but there's probably a reason for that.
Yeah, and as for the Alien vs Predator movies, I haven't heard good things about them. Maybe one day we'll watch them, and maybe we'll talk about them on this channel at some point. But yeah, as for the Predator films, I haven't loved them, I've got to admit. I mean, I kind of do love the first one. I'll take what I said back. I kind of do love the first one. I think it's a great action movie. I love it because of the way it does the action in that film. But I also love this movie because it's so different. And it was completely different than what I expected. I love the fact that they didn't really use guns as well. Like, one of my issues with the second Predator movie is just always firing guns in that film. Not gonna lie. And yeah, I really loved it and I didn't expect to. What do you think of Prey?
I thought Prey was absolutely amazing. Spike was right when he said I'll disagree that this was as good as the first one. I do disagree. I still think Predator 1987 is the best one, but for me, Predator 1987 is here and Prey is like right here. It's not far at all behind it. But I love both movies, but this video is obviously about Prey.
But it is better than Predator 2, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's obviously, but Predator 2 isn't even that good. I mean, it's a decent film. It's better than a lot of films I've seen, but it's also worse than a lot of films I've seen that I can think of offhand. So there's nothing special about it. But if you were to ask me how many better films can you name over Prey or Predator 1987, I would struggle. Put it that way, because they're both great films. But
so what's some of the things you loved about the movie? Let's talk about that.
I thought the lady who played the main protagonist was really good.
Her name is Amber Midthunder, I think.
I liked her.
I can't wait to see more stuff now. I hope she get cast in some DC film or like a Marvel movie. I'd love to see her in one of those.
Well, I really liked it. If I could compare her to, if I can compare her to anyone, I'd say the main woman from Alien, similar roles.
Played by Sigourney Weaver.
She was literally like Ripley, except in this Prey movie fighting the Predator. Pretty similar. You could say the same about Princess Leia as well. In Star Wars. I mean, I don't two very different films, but at the same time, not that different.
And like Sarah Connor in the Terminator.
Sarah Connor in the Terminator.
Also, one thing I mentioned which I loved as well was the scope of the movie. Like, it's a huge film. Like, the landscapes you see in it and the cinematography, it's a beautifully shot film. And I love the scope, and I love how it felt almost like The Revenant. He hasn't seen The Revenant, so he won't understand this, but The Revenant with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hardy is an amazing film in my opinion, and it felt very much like a Predator version of The Revenant, and not in a bad way. And I really loved that bite. I loved how it's gritty. Like every single time you saw someone's head get ripped off or something like that, or you see someone's arm get ripped off. Even like when you see the Predator's arm get ripped off. Bit of spoiler there, but not a big spoiler. But still, nevertheless, even when you see the Predator's arm gets ripped off, you know, it was gritty, and it was like you were watching, and go, ooh, ooh, ooh. There's quite a few moments when I was watching it with him. Like we just finished it about an hour ago, maybe half an hour ago now. And there was quite a few moments when we were watching it, and I just went, don't want to be in that situation. Okay, so we had a small break there because apparently there's a wasp flying in the background of this room, so sorry if you see it about.
If you guys see it, tell us.
Let us know. But anyway, kind of on this review, we're not going to make it a long review, but...
it's there.
Is that it?
It's there, yeah.
Right, so we just killed the wasp. Not that you guys didn't see that, but it got a bit hectic in there. I had my... fly spray, my fly and wasp killer. So I just killed it. But anyway, back to Prey. We just thought it was great. We really, really loved it. And one of the things we're very surprised by is the fact that it was a Disney Plus movie. Like, why didn't it get released in cinemas?
Like, if that film, I honestly believe that if that film came out in cinemas this year, it could potentially be one of the best films of 2022.
Like,
it would be.
Like, I understand why it wasn't released in cinemas, because the last Predator movie, The Predator, Shane Black's The Predator, was received quite badly commercially and critically. So it was a bit of a shame that this one was released in cinemas, because this one's so good.
I feel like it's a bit disrespectful for the movie for this movie to not be in cinemas, because it deserves it.
Yeah, and
it's such a big letdown.
I love how it made us believe that this young girl, this young Native American, could easily defeat the Predator. Well, not easily, but could defeat the Predator. I love how it made us believe that. The verisimilitude of this film. By the way, if you don't know what the word is, look it up. But the verisimilitude of this film was fantastic, and I just loved how realistic it felt. Even though you had, you know, this alien creature, even though you had the Predator in this movie, I loved how real it felt. And for me personally, it's in my top 10 of the year. It might be in my top 5. I'd probably sit down and think about it, but it's definitely my top 10 films of the year. And
it's definitely my top 5 films of the year.
You know, I chose to watch this movie, but I chose to watch other Predator movies like last week because I'd heard so many good things about Prey. I wanted to check it out. I wanted to see if it was one of my favourite films of the year. And after watching it, I can confirm it is. Like, I had a good time watching Predator. I had a really good time watching the first Predator. The second Predator, it was okay. The third one was okay. Haven't seen any others, but this one, brilliant time with.
I definitely couldn't agree more. And then, not lie, in the first 5 minutes of the film,
it throws you straight in. It throws you straight in.
Yeah, in the first couple of minutes when I saw Amber in her first scene playing the character that she played, I had absolutely no idea of the things that she was actually going to do throughout the film. You know, I had no idea what to expect, but I'm glad that I watched it. So yeah, I'd recommend it.
So am I, and I kind of wish released in cinemas. Have you got any criticisms?
I can't really think of it, to be honest with you. It definitely wasn't too long. 1 hour, 40 minutes.
Too long.
Perfect.
I think my only criticism was sometimes a bit the CGI was a bit obvious. But even that didn't hugely
that never crossed my mind.
Yeah,
it wasn't like Marvel films.
Yeah, we're not Marvel fans, by the way. But still, the CGI wasn't a huge issue. It was just a bit notable for me. But I dare say if this film did have a theatrical release, the CGI would have been better. It probably was just given a certain budget because, you know, the producers knew that it was just released on Disney Plus, which is a bit of a shame. But I think all the performances are great. I love the storyline with the brother as well. I love the dog in this movie because in the end, this film, by the way, which is one thing I'm mentioning at this film, it is just about a girl and a dog when you think about it, but I kind of love that about it. It's got a great musical score by Sarah Shanshen or something like that. I forgot what her name is, so I might be butchering that up. But still, nevertheless, it's got a great musical score which really makes, you know, everything feel more gritty. And the killings by the Predator are visceral. I love the way they use Predator in this film. I love the fact the Predator looks different. Have you got anything else to say about the Predator in this film?
I really like the new gadgets that the Predator had compared to the Predator 1987 movie. But also, I do understand that considering the film was set in 1719, I feel like if the girl who defeated the Predator came up against the Predator in the first Predator movie, she might not defeat that one because that Predator, although this film is newer, it was set in 1719, but the first film was set in the time it was made.
Yeah, and then Predator 2 was set in, you know, the time it was made.
I feel like those Predators. I mean, although the Predator in this film was obviously still very OP and he was brilliant, I feel like if she came up against the Predator now, she might not do it. But yeah, obviously she still defeated a very
high tech and technologically advanced alien.
Yeah, so.
And I think she did a great job. And I also like the little nod to Predator 2 with the pistol. If you've seen the film, you know what I mean there. The little nod to Predator 2, which I kind of liked. Because even so, I'm not a huge fan of Predator 2, and even so he's not a huge fan, it does have a following. It's got a bit of a following now ever since people kind of hold it nostalgic value. I personally don't. I hadn't really watched the Predator films until last week. I seen parts of, I think, the third one, but still, nevertheless, I hadn't seen any of the Predator movies probably till last week. So, I don't hold them in nostalgic value, but at the same time, though, I did have a great time watching the first one, but I just as good time watching this new one. I really did, and I think it's great. And I found it quite a bit horrifying to watch as well. It's got some horror elements in there, which I really liked, and also some of the horror. I don't know if it was an 18, it might be in a 15, but some of the horror isn't just focused around the Predator, which I really liked as well. That's one of my favourite things about monster movies, Jurassic Park. Some of these scary sequences, like the car falling down through the tree, isn't just centred around the dinosaurs, which I really like about that movie, and the same sort of thing happens here. There's some visceral sequences, I won't give too much away.
Okay, but there's a bear at one point.
Yeah, and also basically at one moment there's this character who's getting his legs bitten off by rats, which is one of my worst nightmares, and watching that happen was quite scary. And again, it wasn't focused on the Predator, it was just a really scary moment just within the film itself that would have been there if the Predator was in this movie or not, which I really liked about it. Don't know if I'm making sense there, but hopefully I am. But still, nevertheless, overall, we love this movie. We thought it was fantastic. It's one of our favourite films of the year. For me, probably it's my top 10, or maybe I'll think about it more, maybe in my top 5. It's in his top 5.
Of this year, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, I've actually had a bit of a... I've had a bit of a weird last couple of years in movies, and some of that's because my taste has changed. I have seen great movies every year at the cinema, but it's just this year, in the last 2 years in particular, there's been some big movies that if it's felt like literally everybody has liked apart from me, which is annoying, but I can't change.
Interesting factor, he's not a fan of Top Gun Maverick.
No, I'm not. But I wanted to just lay it out in the open. Should I be brutally honest?
Side note, this has got nothing to do with Prey, but
this has got nothing to do with Prey. I'm sorry, I've got to do a rant there. I don't like No Time to Die, the Bond movie. I don't like that. I don't like Top Gun Maverick, and I don't like... What's the other one I didn't like? V Batman. I'm sorry.
Which is my second favourite film of the year.
Yeah, that's 3 huge films that a lot of people like, so I'll probably annoy pretty much everyone there in one of the films, but I'm sorry.
All films subjective, people. Maybe you don't like Prey, and if you don't, please let us know in the comment section below. Maybe you agree with Lewis. Maybe you weren't a fan of the Batman. Maybe you weren't a fan of Top Gun Maverick. I've got to admit, I like Top Gun Maverick, but I don't see what the fuss is all about. But still, nevertheless, going back to Prey, I love the fact that it was gritty. I love the fact that it was so... I don't know why I just went off topic there, but still, I love the fact that it was huge in scope. It's the biggest Predator movie we've seen. It's definitely bigger than Predator 2, and the first Predator movie as well. It's my favourite since the first Predator. I probably say it's as good as first Predator, and I loved it. Anything else you want to say whilst we're rounding off?
I don't know if it was bigger than the first Predator. I don't know how popular Predator 1897 was.
I just mean in scope.
In
I
scope.
don't mean in the response it's had. I just mean in scope.
What do you mean in scope?
The landscapes of the film, the setting.
Oh yeah, it was. But Predator 1987, they did a great job. I'm presuming that they actually. The jungle looked real in the first one.
It did.
They actually, it looked like they.
That's one of the things we liked about the realism.
It looked like they literally did go to Central. I don't want to spoil. Okay, they go to Central America basically.
But if you haven't seen the first Predator movie, it came out in 1986 or 1987. So
unless you're a lot younger than us two, and you're quite young and you just haven't had a chance yet, what are you doing?
Yeah. Be careful. It is a bit of a gory movie. It's a bit violent, but still, nevertheless,
18.
Yes, but still. It's a cracking film, but nevertheless. Anything else you want to add about this movie, though?
It's a sort of movie.
Just with rounding off.
I'd recommend it to literally anybody. I mean, if it's a 15, if you're younger than 15, if you can watch it, then do. It's got a lot of blood and gore. It's quite. If you don't mind that though, and you can handle that now, I'd recommend it to anybody. All ages. All men and ladies. It doesn't matter what age you are. or boys and girls. It's one of those films where I think anybody could enjoy it. Put it that way.
Lucy preaches to the choir there. Any girls and boys, any ladies and gentlemen, watch this movie. It's great, and it is fantastic. And so, all in all, I'm going to say that out of 10, I'm going to give it a 9. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. What are you going to give it?
Well, to be fair, I actually really enjoyed it. I'm not being funny. I mean, I'm not. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not like some high class film critic. But if I really enjoy it, if I love a film, then put it that way, you've done well. Put it that way. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9 as well.
Okay, so I'm giving it a 9 just because I think I've mentioned this already, but I'm gonna say it again, so I'm justifying my rating. I love this movie. It was gritty. You felt all the pain of all the main characters, whether it was a main girl or a brother. I also love how suspenseful it was to watch as well, and how thrilling it was to watch, and the intensity and the way they use the Predator. Like, the Predator doesn't feel threatening in Predators or in Predator 2, but in this movie it does, like it did in the first movie.
Yeah, and you actually see it. You actually see it a lot in this film. Okay, Predator 1987. I like how much you see it. But yeah, you don't see it as much as this one, but you do see it. It's a different sort of films, and to be honest with you, and Predator 2. You pretty half of Predator 2 is bloody pointless dialogue. You barely even
and guns firing.
You barely even I mean, there's guns firing all the time in the first Predator, but I think they do it well.
Yeah, but then
they
slow down in the final act of the first one, where
exactly.
Arnie, covers himself in blood.
Yeah, and he actually uses a bloody. He actually makes his own bow and arrow.
Yeah, I mean,
which is pretty.
This film kind of had links to that, which I really liked. Also, I thought it was great. I thought it was so much fun to watch, and I really didn't expect to have this much fun with this movie. It should have been in cinemas, and it's a crime that it wasn't. Anything else you want to add to justify your rating of 9 out of 10?
For me, the length of the film is important. I have seen The Godfather 3 hours long, and I absolutely loved it. I don't love many 3-hour films.
I was just going to quickly interject. He's not a big film buff like I am.
No.
But he's seen quite a lot. He's just not a big film buff like I am still. Carry on.
Well, I'm just making a point. Yeah, I don't hate any film that's dead long. I mean, I've seen The Godfather Part 1, which is 3 hours, and I love that film because it is a great film. I don't know many films like The Godfather that for 3 hours. My point is, Prey was
an hour 40.
It was an hour and 40 minutes. For me, that's like the perfect, not too short, but not too long. It was only 20 minutes off. It was only 20 minutes off 2 hours, and 2 hours is pretty long. And yeah, there was always something happening. There was no pointless dialogue.
No. It didn't have a lot of dialogue,
you on your toes,
which I really liked. But it didn't have a lot of dialogue.
It was literally
get into the action, get into suspense from all.
It kept you on your toes. You actually, the action actually looked real. It wasn't like some sissy rubbish.
Not like it was in Predators.
Well, I've not seen that, but I plan on watching it. I've got it on Blu-ray. And
don't get your hopes up.
Oh well.
Oh, and also one thing we should say is I hope for a future Predator sequel because he bet it'll happen. I hope that if they do another Predator sequel with a completely different cast, and it's either set in World War One or World War Two, because a Predator movie set during those times, like over the trenches in No Man's Land, would be fantastic. I'd love to see that.
Imagine a Predator versus the Nazis in the World War Two.
That would be fantastic. I'd love to see it. I also wouldn't mind like a samurai one. I think that could work quite well. Or also like one set in the snow, be like The Thing. That could also work really well. And I love The Thing, but it's a fantastic horror movie. Also, I wouldn't mind a Predator movie set in like Vietnam War as well. That'd be great. So yeah, if they're gonna do another
basically
Predator
any
movie,
war,
do something like this but set in a different time period, and I'm all for that. Maybe don't set it in modern day like they did with Predator 2 because I don't think it worked that well.
No.
But still,
the first Predator in modern day worked well. But to be honest,
that wasn't really in the city, was it?
No, it was in the jungle. But I feel like Predator 1987. That's like 1 in a million. Like you'll never see a film like that again. You know, a bit like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Once you've seen it, that
which we waxed poetic about when we did our review of Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, a joint review. So if you haven't checked that out, go and check that out if you haven't already. But still, nevertheless, going back onto Prey, we loved it, and it was a great movie. So enjoyable to watch, and yeah, really unexpected. And as for my Predator rankings, I'd say number 1, I tied number 1 place for me is the first Predator and Prey. Number 2, Predator 2. Number 3, Predators. Haven't seen the others, but one day I will.
For me, I'd say it'd be Predator 1987, very closely followed by Prey. It's up there on the podium, just behind it. I personally love Predator. It's literally in my top 10 favourite films.
It's one of his favourite movies.
Yeah, Predator, Prey, Predator 2.
And then the Predator. That's only one.
But that's not really saying much. I've only seen I've not seen Predator, so V Predator. After that, I don't know.
We'll have to wait and see. Maybe we'll talk about the other Predator movie soon in this channel. You might see what we've got upcoming in the next couple of weeks. Won't give it away yet. Don't announce anything yet. But still, nevertheless, we love Prey. And all in all, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10 too.
There you go. Anyway, guys, what do you think of Prey? Please do comment down below and know your thoughts in the comment section below. Anyway, guys, thank you as always for watching. And if you haven't yet, please do click down below and like subscribe on this video. And look forward to many more, both film and TVs, come very soon on this channel. Got anything else to add?
Guys, please watch the movie, and if you do, most importantly, enjoy.
See you guys again soon. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.